I'm Shane Nyland, and my co host is Blake Musser. And these stories you're about to hear are from Weapons Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, 1st Marine Division, about the events surrounding and directly from the mouths of the people who were in Ramadi 2004. This is part 2 of our interview with Joe Herscher from Rainmaker Platoon.
Thankfully, he liked me anyway, but he didn't like lay long. What happened to Gunny Murky? Where's he at?
He is still in California.
Nice.
He was working with veterans in like a Wounded Warrior kind of thing. Not for Wounded Warrior, but like for something, an organization like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. He was a maniac. He knew every single weapon system. I mean, I'd pick his brain about stuff all the time. He was unreal.
Yeah, he was great. It's funny because he did not know anything about the toe. And he would never admit that. He would never admit that. But he would talk like he knew something about the toe, and I'd be like, no, Gunny, that's not correct. And he would get really pissed off anytime I'd correct him. But
it is wire guided, right?
Yeah. Damn, man.
That was a good one. I hadn't heard that one before.
No,
at least I don't remember it. I should say that.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that was unpleasant. Yeah, and then from there, I remember just small skirmishes here and there throughout. The Savage Day, that was a rough one for everybody. I know a lot of people talked about that one, but I was. You remember the date on that one?
May 12th.
May 12th, yeah. And I was on the Mark 19. I was like rear vehicle. I was rear security. And so I hadn't even come around the corner yet. And when that hit, and then we eventually drove around the corner, and I was ready to rock, looking for people running through fields or anything. But yeah, that was chaos that day. And I remember the vehicle being, I believe it had slid down into like mud too, into this embankment. And the vehicle was stuck down there. Everybody was piling out. And yeah, Riegelsberger got hurt pretty bad that day too.
He did.
Yeah, very much so.
And then that one hit hard. I was really good friends with Savage. We'd party a few times and a lot of times. And he's such a funny guy. He's awesome. Just straight Tennessee boy. And straight Southern, the same, like McLeod type mentality too, with that twang. And then, but he was he's such a good guy and genuinely cared. And, he was, like I said, he was a savage on the gun too. He was the first to fire almost every time we got in a firefight. He was ready to rock. And yeah, that one hit hard. I had just taken a picture of him too, like a few days before that. And yeah, I still have that up on my thing.
Yeah, he's an interesting fella in that when you met him before Ramadi, he was nobody would have been like, here's our exemplary Marine, right? He was never the biggest, he was never the fastest. He wasn't his field day inspection failed most of the time. His uniform definitely didn't always look the best, right? I can say a million bad Marine things, right? But they're stupid things. They're things that don't matter.
All garrison shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're things that don't matter. But when it comes to heart, he definitely had that and you're right. Like just super friendly. Never a time when he was around that I ever felt like we could have talked for hours about all kinds of stupid shit.
Yeah.
He's just a funny dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and he had so many of those that just in combat whipped it on. I mean, that's what we train for, right? That's what we do. And they just, yeah.
It has to be really hard for leadership. I never think about this kind of stuff, but I'm going to start asking them, like, how do you walk that line between keeping a field Marine and keeping a garrison Marine? Because like some of your garrison Marines shit themselves and are worthless once you get over there.
Yeah.
And you need these field Marines, but the field Marines are fucking terrible for good order and discipline. So how do you keep the crime from not spreading?
Right, absolutely. I'd love to know that answer
Yeah.
because I was on the latter end of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Weapons Company had its fair share of field Marines. That is for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
And so,
Yeah. I don't remember, going back to Okinawa, I don't remember wearing clothes very much in the barracks.
There's about 10 people in 81s that almost never wore clothes. Yeah, I know. 2 of them are on this podcast.
Pretty much just always walk around drunk and naked in the barracks.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah.
it's the best way to be, Nyland. You just didn't understand the particulars of being in 81s.
Yeah, and the freedom. It's just true freedom. And then, in between there, man, every day we pretty much had, small skirmishes, not every day, but quite a bit, small skirmishes and getting hit with IED. We got hit with so many IEDs. And then we were doing those IED sweeps. So the chow truck wouldn't get it, which means go get hit with an IED so we don't.
Yeah.
So much fun. And then, and doing day task school, hauling Oliver North around a few times. And that was good times. And coming back and just getting swole, I remember I was always in the gym. So we'd come back and your adrenaline's just going so hard. And you're just jacked up, even when you don't get in a firefight. Anytime you cross that line, you're ready to rock. You see that sign, complacency kills. Every time you look at a thing and you're ready, you're in the mode, and you get back in adrenaline, it's just full tilt, and you go to the gym and get swole. There may have been some illicit substances running around, allegedly.
Yeah.
Some enhancement. And but so
supplements from GNC. Yeah.
Supplement, exactly. We got some GNC supplements. So and I can remember going to combat outpost, and a lot of us were huge at that point too, and going to combat outpost, and everybody's they're hiking around, they're humping around, everybody's sucked up eating. I was eating like 5 MREs a day, like 20,000 calories.
Yeah.
And I remember rolling up and it was like slow motion, like cue the scene. We'd come out of the Humvees and we'd step out slow motion to like the foot hitting the sand. and we're huge, no neck. I remember just like coming out huge. I've been working traps for 8 days. Like, how do these guys keep getting bigger? So ridiculous. And and then watching movies. We got a lot of movies from the movie guy. And and then just always keeping Ackles out of the bathroom. It was like he didn't care. In fact, he was always in the Jack Shack. And so we in fact, one time we took pepper spray. Somebody had pepper spray and we hit the toilet seat over there with it. And we knew he was going to go in there. And Hodges and I did, and he went back in there and he was doing his business and we were, ooh, ow. But he didn't get off the toilet. He's still finished. I can't, this guy's an animal. It didn't do anything. And then he took a shower and it was like burning more because the hot water, we had hot water that day. And then I remember we had a few people with the pepper spray. Like, if we ever got hot water, somebody be in there like, oh my God, thank God we get to go shower in the hot water. And Hodges and I'd go in there and spray pepper spray and it would just like be airborne at that point. The steam. We're just absolute terrible human beings. My only solace is this hot shower and I got pepper spray.
I don't think, was there any hooch where anybody like ever actually used the bathroom as a bathroom? I don't think anybody was allowed to, right? Like it was a Jack Shack in every hooch and there was a different sign in every hooch, like what you had to do. Some had a sign out, some had a sign that said occupied. Like there was all kinds of shit. There was always something.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'd go in and I'd go like I'd get bored and I'd go like hooch to hooch and just say hi to everybody. And yeah, I can remember it was always different. I'm like, let me see what's going on back here.
Yeah.
And I remember I was right in the back too, so I was right by the bathroom. So and then I had all of it was ridiculous. So I'd have to unload the truck every night, unload the mark off of there, take all the ammo outside, all those ammo cans, and I had like a little nest of 40 Mike, and then all the other ammo that was in our Humvee.
Nice.
And yeah, so I could creep out, nobody'd see me, and I'd screw with people in there, and then I'd creep back into my rack. Evil. And then I remember we built a little smoke shack out back. That was pretty sweet. I had that set up, and we'd throw knives back there. That was good times. And then my mom was on WGN. And she called in one time, and then she was like a recurring person. It was like this Marine Mom update she was doing.
Really?
Yeah. And she's on WGN. So they asked the listeners to like send in things to our address. So they were like sending beef jerky and books. She's like, they really want books. They want to read books. They're like, did you realize we're like a Marine infantry unit, right? And we want movies, DVDs. So all of the people like, and they're awesome. Thank you so much, everybody that sent books. But we had hundreds of books.
Yeah.
I was just asking about that. I was like I remember like a ton of care packages being like just books.
Yeah. I remember huge boxes
books.
of books, and there'd be like a note from like, this is from some church. And I just thought it was some random church. I didn't realize it was your mom out there.
From my mom.
We were the most literate in Marine Corps.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was, and I read quite a few books, but you know, I obviously we don't have a lot of time to read books.
Right.
In fact, I remember Staff Sergeant Cook coming and Sergeant Garcia like, "Okay, dude, what's fucking going on with all these books?" So I remember like address to you, and I was like, he's like, "You got to build a book rack," and I was like, "I don't know how to build a book rack." He's like, "You figured out." I was like, "Okay, I'll build a book rack." So I had to like build a book rack in that side room on the one. It was full of books no one ever read. Hopefully, you know, 5th Marines that took over got a lot of use out of them.
I ended up reading a lot.
Yeah, me too. I did. Yeah, there's quite a few good ones in there. It was nice of them. That was awesome. We wanted beef jerky and chew and
the adult size wipes to wipe ourselves down.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. After sandstorms. That was wild, the sandstorm day when it was raining mud.
That was,
yeah. That was unreal. I've never seen that in my life.
I have for whatever reason, that's also one of the things that I randomly think about. Just it rained straight up raining mud. That was wild.
Yeah.
It's also funny to me because I grew up in a desert, so that's normal to me. And like, it's weird what you consider normal.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm used to like lake effect rain and snow, and you know, then it's gone. And you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you know, throughout the enlistment, we really grew so tight. We were already so tight with everybody, right? But you're with each other all day, every day in this small hooch, and man, you grew some really, really tight bonds. Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with many people from that time?
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah, Ackles. I live in Michigan now, and Ackles lives in Michigan. He'll come up to Mackinac Island. I work on Mackinac Island, and he'll come up and see me and hang out a little bit. I see Hodges quite a bit. Doc Contreras I've seen quite a few times. Yeah, Rudy's always around. He's moving around quite a bit.
Yeah,
but I've gone to California and seen him a few times, and yeah, I've seen quite a few guys. Saw a few other people in Texas. For a winter, I lived in Texas. That was one of my last winters, last drinking winters, living in Texas. Actually, I was living at Hodges' house, and I remember I was sober for a little bit. And, you know, when we got done, when we left, might be jumping ahead, but, man, I remember getting out and couldn't sleep at all, having night terrors, and they put me on like Depakote, which is an antipsychotic, and you know, and then 200 milligrams of Zoloft. So I was like wired, which I don't need at all. I literally wake up like this, just like amped. And then I couldn't sleep. So then it was like Ambien for sleep. And then, of course, I'd hoard those and take like 3 at a time and see like babies crawling on the ceiling. And then, and I remember I was drinking. I was living at Reagan's in Houston, and I drank his booze. I found some vodka. He had taken everything out of the house, and I found some underneath the counter. I was like, jackpot. And I remember him like throwing me up against the wall by the neck. He's like, do it again. I'll strangle you. Like, okay. I think that was like the last time I drank. So,
It's a good way to go out, I suppose. I mean, at least it was somebody showing you that they gave a fuck.
yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, so I still keep in contact with quite a few people, just here and there, send some texts, and Sergeant Garcia Flex. Um, Man, it was so good to see everybody at the reunion too. That was unreal.
It was good, man. It was good seeing you there. It was weirdly emotional, at least for me. I don't know how it was for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, emotions are running high. There's a lot of those guys, were still repairing, still, getting better. They were in the hospital or had gotten evac, and I hadn't seen them since then.
Right.
So, and then I got out pretty quick after too, and I was, just an idiot. And but to see everybody was awesome. So I hadn't seen those guys in forever. So it was so good for the soul.
Yeah. So you only did the 4 years.
Yep.
And when did you get out?
I got out in September and left immediately and moved to Minnesota. And at that point, I was a disaster. And I was doing drywall, and I was drinking just heavily every day and taking the meds on top of it. So I left there and went back to Illinois and trying to go back to school, and worked at a chemical plant for a little bit. And I was in and out of AA and trying to get off my meds, and met my wife in college, and she saved me pretty much. I always say the 2 J's saved me, Jessica and Jesus. And oh my gosh, she was amazing. So when we first met in school, she's like, "Oh, this guy's awesome, man. He parties. He's so much fun. He's a great guy." And then I would have a flask in school. I kept a flask on me. She's like, "He's so much fun." Like, oh wait, he has a problem. About 2 weeks in, and then I remember I went to the hospital, and she sat with me for like we'd only been dating for a little bit. She sat with me in the hospital for like 2 weeks, and while I detoxed off meds, off everything, and then they had me on low doses of stuff. Eventually, I just quit taking everything, quit drinking. I've been in and out of AA, and I relapsed a few times, 3 or 4 rehabs. It was good times. Actually, one in Michigan. That's a fun story. After 2 weeks, you could go out in town, and this is in the winter. I work for 7 months, and I take 5 off. So it was in the winter, and after 2 weeks, you go out in town. Well, I went out in town, and there's like this cool snowboard shop. I was like, oh, it's sick, and I snowboard and skateboard and surf. And walked back by, and I was like, oh, there's a liquor store next to it. That's odd. And I go back around, and I go back in. Is it open? Let's see if it's open. Oh, it is open. And I remember I bought like 4 half pints, and I had cowboy boots on, and I work with horses, so I thought it was cool. And I put the 4 half pints on each side of my cowboy boots, and I walked back into to rehab, and they checked me. They're like, okay, he's clear. Come back in, and I hide him in I have like a little vent. I took the screws off, and I hid him in there. And then New Year's, I got hammered, and I remember, I'm pretty sure I was wrestling with somebody, and they're like, he smells like peppermint schnapps. They're like, you can stay, but you got to clean it back. Like, no, I'm out of here. And I left rehab then. Right? I was in Marquette, Michigan, and pulling my sea bag through like 3 feet of snow. Like, yeah. But I got better. And so, yeah, then
that's the important part. I mean, it's not the relapses, it's that you get back on it. And that's the hard part, and that's the important part.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like you told me you've been sober 14 years, some crazy amount of shit, right?
Yeah, February 20th will be 14 years. So
Congrats, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been incredible. Also, if anybody, if anybody's still struggling, please reach out, man. I love talking to people. I've had quite a few people reach out from the battalion and like, hey man, I saw you were sober on Facebook or whatever. Um, any tips, any help? And man, I have all the tips. I can help you. Yeah, it was a long, hard road. Uh, Long, hard road. So yeah, um, it- man, all the guys that we were with, just it was an incredible group of magnificent bastards. And I want to help everybody that I can because I genuinely love all you guys. It was awesome. It was the time of my life. So
I definitely don't want to drill down on the recovery part of it too much, but I do want to ask you a few more questions if you don't mind about that part of things.
absolutely, yeah.
When you were first getting out and you sought medical help, what made you see a doctor in the first place to get on the meds? Just from not being able to sleep?
I was having night terrors a bunch, and I would wake up and just like screaming, and I don't know why or what or yeah, and just different things that we saw and we were in, um, and yeah, it was rough, and I had a few panic attacks, and I didn't think those were real. I'd always said people have a panic attack. I'm like, dude, suck it up, you're fine. That's not real. Like, oh no, that's a real thing. Um, and yeah, and then obviously to mask that into sleep, I was drinking, and I'm like, man, I need to get on some medication. And the Marine Corps originally put me on the medication. So, and as you know, at that time there was no counseling. We watched that video on how to assimilate back into society, and it's like 2 hours. It's like, all right, you're gonna go. Have a good day. It's like, sick.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question was what was the follow up? Yeah. But
And yeah, the doc literally, I remember going into BAS, and he just gave me a bunch of meds and said, go about your way. This will fix you. And didn't say to come back in to check back up or anything. And it was just like, and that was the fix at the time, I think. There was no counseling. There was no one to talk to about it, right? I mean, we were the first ones that had been in that heavy of combat in a very long time. Yeah.
So just a point of like like timeline. So when did 2-4 go back to the Oki tour? Because you would have, if you got out in September, or wait, did you get out in September of 05 or
05.
September of
September of 05. Yep.
Because then were you
stayed
like
back.
left behind?
I was left behind. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I just kind of hung out in California waiting to get out. And
Were you just part of the rear element or were you with regimental?
I was with regimental at the time.
Okay.
Yep. So,
And so that probably didn't help anything either. I mean, if everybody was gone, then I mean,
everybody was gone. I was literally on my own. We'd have to be there for morning formation and then in the afternoon formation, and then you just do whatever you want.
yeah, that's not good.
Not at all. Yeah, and in fact, I tried to go see a counselor. I talked to BS. I tried to see a counselor, and there was no one to talk to. I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't until I got out that I actually saw a doctor and sought counseling, and that helped immensely. So yeah, it's implemented a lot more now. But yeah, it was rough. In fact, I think next winter, we're going to be in California working with Veteran Surf Alliance. I'm going to try to volunteer with them and do some stuff. There's a few different I surf all winter pretty much. And yeah, and there's a few different ones in California. So
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, I really hope. I don't know that much about how they have things set up now, but I know when we got out, the very minimal amount of support that there was not enough. And then for people like, I know the three of us are in this category where due to the timing of how we got out, we were just left to our own devices and in a lot of ways isolated and having to do it by ourselves. I mean, Nyland and I stayed real close and stuff like that, and we stayed in contact. But it's when you're 24/7 by yourself, and then you get your little hits help. I mean, it helps keep your feet underneath you. But that first 18 months, man, I was.
You got it. Absolutely.
Let's just say I have stories.
Exactly.
One, people discount it, but it's the culture of drinking in the Marine Corps is literally everywhere. I mean, like what do you give people
especially
for,
at that time?
yeah. What do you
Yep.
give people for going away? You give them a bottle of whiskey, or you give them a beer mug, or like and then what do you do to celebrate a promotion? Everybody gets drunk and gets the shit kicked out of them.
Absolutely.
What do you do to celebrate your birthday? Same exact thing. What do you do to celebrate waking up on a Monday? Same thing.
Same thing.
Right? Like
Marine Corps birthday.
right. Yeah, exactly. And it's mostly not like, it's not like, oh, we're going to have a drink and then we'll be done. Like we're all going to have a glass of wine and read a book. Right. Like,
Right. Yeah.
no. It's mostly you're drinking all the way through, right? All the way to excess. And it does not lead to good coping mechanisms in any way.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, let's just go have a bottle. And we'll just have just one bottle.
Well, I mean, not to use Okinawa as example, but because that's the worst example of all of it. But what were they serving you liquor in? It was bowls, like
The bowl.
Right.
yeah, it was a punch bowl. Like it's not a cup. Like here's a bowl of liquor for you.
Yeah. It was the mojo, right? The mojo.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Four friends and four straws, and see, you have to try and finish it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Well, we'll drag it back to the deployment for a minute. Is there anything else you can remember that you want to talk about? I can always pick your brain, but I'm just curious if there's anything else that stands out. Funny, not funny, serious, firefight, whatever.
Think about what some of the guys.
What's that?
Something about some of the guys.
Oh yeah. Well, I used to love also running around naked in the hooch while everybody was watching movies in the dark. That's bring that back up. And no, I'm just kidding. And no one else liked it. It was weird. I couldn't figure it out. No, I just you try to boost morale. I can remember vividly getting hit with an RPG. Our truck got hit with it hit the tire, but it was like a training practice round.
Mm-hmm.
And it was shot right at us, like RPG. We're still in the back of the Humvee. We were moving to contact, and fell down. Boom! Hit the street. Boom! Hit our tire. And I don't know if it even popped, but we looked, and it was like a training practice round. And we're like, and we just start dying laughing, like what an idiot! Freaking. And I can remember so vividly, like, and that's kind of my coping mechanism too, is laughing at everything. But I can remember vividly, just like. The camaraderie and just laughing, like the way to get through it. How do we get through this? How do we push through this 17-hour firefight? And we just like almost get blown up, almost get shot, and just laugh about it. And everybody copes differently. And I just remember, pretty vividly that was my coping mechanism.
Yeah, everybody had some super dark humor. Like I remember numerous times of people singing in the middle of firefights, dancing in the middle of firefights, throwing shit at somebody, right? Like somebody's shooting, and they're like throwing Jolly Ranchers at them or something. Like just crazy shit. Like no sane person would ever do that, but it was the way to get through it, man. The humor made it worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can remember I only got to throw a frag once. We got somebody threw a grenade like down the street or down this alley, and we were out in the middle of a pretty busy street in town, and frag went off. We all got down, frag went off. Nobody was hit, and I said, "Can I throw a frag back?" And obviously everyone's ears are ringing. Nobody could hear anything. I look around, and I'm looking at Sergeant Garcia, didn't say anything. I just pull a frag and throw it over the wall where it just got the frag just came from, and boom! I didn't hear anything else, so I assume I won, but I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I can remember, and we're all laughing. And and it wasn't to make light of combat in the situation, it was just, that's how we got through a lot of times.
Yeah. It's funny. It's listed as one of the mature coping mechanisms is to make humor out of a serious situation. I don't know if that's true, but
Yeah,
but it's listed that way.
yeah, I am the quintessence of maturity. So.
Do you remember much about how things sort of changed from the beginning, from the April firefights, and then moving through the summer and going towards the end, like July, August?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can remember, I remember getting up armored and we were stoked. We went and got those vehicles from Fallujah, if I remember correctly. And we drove in there and the Israeli army didn't want them, I believe is what it was.
We had some of those too. That was interesting too.
You could still see like the outline of some of those stars, man. And we're like
grinding off stars of David.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. Wild. And so, we got a few of those vehicles and I was stoked. I didn't care. I was like, they don't want these things, are sick. And I remember I first got, we were on a fastback and then I had the Mark 19 on that. And I still didn't have armor up top though. I didn't have a plate up front. I didn't have a plate in the back or anything or sides. And I was still just right up front exposed to the world. And then I remember I got that front plate and I was so stoked. And we took small arms fire that day, that day or the day after I got that plate. And it sounds cooler if you say it was that day. And but I remember taking small arms fire and we came back and I was looking at everything, taking everything off, taking the mark off, taking all the stuff out. And I had one bullet hole that would have gone like right into my chest, like right on my front plate. And I was like, oh, dude, yes. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. And actually, and that was the same time, a few people were getting sniped. And there were some snipers in town with what was our sniper rifle. Right. I mean, I think one of them was
that was the rumor. We didn't know for sure.
Right.
But they had taken a DM rifle and a sniper rifle off of the team that got killed. And
right.
So, it's definitely possible. There was that, you ever watch the American Sniper movie, Juba?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All of the prevailing wisdom afterwards was that there wasn't really a Juba, that it was a bunch of different dudes with sniper rifles, and that they just made up this myth that there was some super ninja Batman sniper who was sniping everybody. Right. But we had recovered SVDs and Dragunov sniper rifles and other stuff from dead bodies. So it's not like there weren't other snipers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that was I forgot about that incident, getting fragged on the roof there, and they took radios, the sniper rifle, and pretty much all that gear up top.
Yeah. That was June 21st. So it was like kind of like right in the middle of the deployment. And I mean, again, you guys probably did more with this than I did, but I know some of the platoons helped take the bodies down and some helped take them off to Al Assad Air Base. It was a weird change in mission because that was right in the middle of when we were ramping up, stopping the racetrack patrols up and down Michigan, and we started putting OPs everywhere and just watching large sectors of the city instead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we were the QRF to that, so they hadn't called in, no response, and so we responded to that. And I was on the marks. I was like stuck on the truck, and I remember they came up there, and there was already, I won't name the news station, but there was already a news station there. And the report had been that they called them before anyone, and no one had warned us, and they were already there filming. So.
Yep. Yeah, I do. They filmed everything before we had ever got there,
Which is disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a surprise, I don't think, given the climate at the time, but.
Right. I really liked guard month too. I can remember on being on guard, and this is side note weird, but I was up on guard during the day, and on the bridge, and I'm looking under one of the bridges, I think it's Euphrates, and I'm looking underneath there, and I see a guy, this dude giving another guy fellatio under the bridge. And so, of course, I needed to call that in. So I have my binos, and I'm looking down the thing, and
there's a bunch of infantry Marines right now that are Googling the word fellatio because they don't know what that means. Yeah, go ahead.
I got the binos, and I'm looking. I'm like, is this real? Am I? And so, I was like, I got to call this in. So I call it in to, Command COC, and I don't remember what the call signs were. And I think, Mustard, you were in there quite a bit, weren't you?
Yep. Yeah. I was off and on the radio.
And I call in, I'm like, yep, whatever the call signs were. I have a gentleman giving another gentleman fellatio under the bridge. And of course, their response was always, I hear everybody dying laughing. And then they say, keep an eye on it. Maintain radio silence. And then, I didn't call anything back, but he finished. He went to the fountain and he got some water. I think he went to the Euphrates, got some water and splashed his mouth out and took off. And it's like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I went back to the hooch. I remember telling everybody, I was like, dude, you'll never believe this. And I was like, and it happened. He drank some water, splashed his mouth out, and he took off. And Ackles just out of nowhere goes, "Oh my God, he drank the water."
That is the most horrifying part of the story.
It really is.
100%. 100%. It's disgusting,
Yeah, the amount of shit in that water. I actually agree with Ackles in this case.
But it all runs down to in their sewer system, their outhouses run out to the alley, run down to the Euphrates eventually. I mean, it's, oh my gosh. Oh, remember those 110-degree days, like going down alleys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you
man.
splash food, it's all over the Humvee. You're like, you smell that all day.
Yep.
I can't remember who it was, but I think we were at the police station or something like that. And anyways, they were walking back to the truck and their leg went through one of those, it was like one of those cesspools had crusted over. And so it looked like normal dirt. And they went all the way up to their hip and it just stained their leg. It was just so disgusting.
Never forgot that one, I'm sure.
No.
Oh, God, so
gross. So coming into the latter part, get into July and stuff like that. What do you remember of getting towards the end when we started having left seat, right seats and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. And having left seat, right seats. And like I said, I was always on the mark until the end. So I missed a lot of kicking indoors and I was always just kind of sitting there on my mark, waiting for something to happen. And I remember before this, I remember shooting up that hotel. There was a bunch of guys in that hotel. Uh-huh. We had Bradley's on station. And do you remember the date on that? Do you have a date on?
I think it was August 18th, but I'm not 100% sure.
So that's what I'm thinking. Cause I know it was hot.
Yep.
And it was really hot. We had Bradley on station. Mm-hmm. And I was on the mark. And I remember putting like all cans of ammo in my Humvee into that hotel. Yeah. Everyone's going, ceasefire. I'm still going. That was a wild day. That was a pretty big one. Everybody dug into that hotel. Do you remember that at all?
So potentially, now I'm questioning. So there's two times that could have been. We had OP Library, which was when the battalion CO was on the way to meet up with Golf Company, who was already engaged out by OP Library. And they got into contact, but Map 3 and I think you guys went out because you and Map 3 were out at the same time a lot because you were on similar schedules. And you pushed forward, and that was when there's a video that Oliver North took of a Bradley literally just raking back and forth across two different floors of a building. And that could have been it. Or, again, on August 18th, there was OP Hotel that was, they had attacked it with explosives. And we came out as QRF, and it was 3 different map platoons that were out at that time on different spots. And we were trying to figure out how to get I think it was Fox Company who was up on top of that OP. We were trying to figure out how to get them down because they they had put so many explosives, it had blown out the stairs and the floor, and we were like, they're fucking stuck up there. Nobody was dead.
Yeah.
They're all injured, but nobody was dead. And we were like trying to figure out how to get them down from the top. And then we took contact from 3 buildings directly straight across. It was like a setup thing. When the QRF showed up, they started shooting. And there was Bradley there too at that time.
Yeah. 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 They were on station quite a bit.
It was mostly when things got real bad. They were not there all the time.
No, because we were, like I said, we were QRF and movement to contact, so we were flying.
Yeah,
and we were just always trying to get to somewhere as quick as possible.
Yeah,
but it was nice to see them every once in a while.
For sure.
So yeah, from there I remember towards the end, and Sergeant Garcia talked about this too. Man, I remember we were ready. Like August, September's hitting, and we're like, okay, we're ready to go. And it was more like preservation at that point. Like,
Yeah.
Yep, 2-5. Anytime you're ready, we're ready to get out of here. This has been like 7 months of hell, and yeah, we're ready to go. And but I remember we still had some. I don't remember a lot of the missions at the end there. I remember a lot of night missions, night QRF stuff, and night task pool. Really, and hitting a bunch of things at night. And I remember weapons being dug in. We always had reports of weapons being dug in places, right? Weapons caches, and especially in the cemeteries. There's a few different cemetery ones and we just set up an LPOP out there and be out there in the dark. And seeing if they were digging in weapons. Actually, that was my only camel spider I saw.
Oh, yeah.
We were waiting to see if they were dug in. And I have my, we still had our PVS 7 Bravos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which are terrible. And then I'm trying to focus, and I'm like focusing in on stuff. I'm trying to get my sight, and I hear on my flak, and Dahl is underneath me. I hear again, and I'm like looking down. I'm trying to focus, so I look down at my flak, and I'm focusing in. I'm like, whoa, holy shit! And I hit the freaking thing down. It's a camel spider on my flak jacket. And I hit him down into the Humvee. And I was like, shut the fuck up, dude, shut the fuck up. And somebody else from another truck's like, dude, shut up. I was like, yeah, sorry. So I can't tell him what it was. I'm like sitting there quiet. And then all of a sudden I hear, like maybe 2 minutes later, I hear, holy shit, dude, camel spider. And I was excited. So I go, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I probably blew that up. We never found any weapons. It was weird. I don't know.
And it's funny, those things look terrifying, but they're completely harmless.
Yeah,
they're just so giant, and they move so weird the way they move. They're such a strange spider.
Yeah, unreal. Not a fan. But yeah, and leaving, we were all pretty psyched. I mean, we were tired. We were pretty torn up, and but we were all pretty excited to get back. And I can remember the elation and the excitement to leave.
Yeah.
I remember that pretty specifically. Everybody's pretty amped. So
we got home and we had a block of leave. Do you remember much about getting home?
Yeah, absolutely. Went and saw the fam. I remember getting back, and everybody went to go see family and take off, and we all said our goodbyes. And I remember I was on the parade deck. I probably should have known I had a problem at this point, but I remember I was on the parade deck, and they had a keg for us when we got back.
Mm-hmm.
A few kegs, a bunch of people there were like, "Woo, yeah, you're welcome back." And I remember sitting on the parade deck by myself with my ex, and I just sat there and she's like, "Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, I'm just gonna finish this keg off. And there was no one else there. It was just me by this. And then I was there for another 45 minutes or so, and then I was just like I sat there quiet and just like I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything. I just like you've mentioned before on here, like it's so hard to talk to people about it. And not that it was necessarily hard to talk about. It's just, how do you bring it up? What do you say? And the awkwardness of other people too, when you bring it up, they have nothing to relate.
Right.
So they just get quiet, and it was just even talking to family about it. I went home and saw the fam, and yeah, it was pretty quiet, and which is not like me. And it was rough coming back. Yeah. I mean, I was so stoked to be back stateside, but yeah, and I mean, you guys have talked about that a lot, just how hard it is. You don't have anybody to talk to about it. So,
One of those weird
Well,
things is you can't talk to anybody else, and you there's no culture of talking to your other Marines about anything, really, right?
right. Yep.
What were you gonna say, Blake? Sorry, I cut you off.
oh, just no, well, just basically the same thing. That it's just it. I realized, and it took me a long time talking about it to realize that it's hard to talk about because you're still trying to figure out how to phrase it to yourself. Even like it's not an easy narrative to bring up, even if you had a like you knew what you wanted to say and what you wanted to convey. It's still a heavy topic, but back then, it was a bunch of young idiots that, I'll speak for myself, barely graduated from high school. It's not like I was some sort of like Rhodes Scholar that was really good at, writing prose. And so I didn't. And then a lot of times when you're talking with people too, especially early on, they would like jump on the wrong part of the story, and you're like, no, stop. Like, you know what? Never mind. Like
Yeah.
that's not
Yep.
like
Yeah.
that's you focused on the wrong part and I didn't get to tell you the funny part. Well, and
Right.
then as you pointed out, the gallows humor also doesn't land as well. So
No,
it's like, here's this really funny story.
Yeah.
And then, you get done with the story and you're laughing uproariously, and you look at everybody else and they have like the most horror struck look on their face. And it's like,
Oh my God.
it's like, no, it's funny. It's funny. No, everybody died. It was great.
You guys are not getting it? Oh my God, he drank the water?
No, that was the punchline. That was
You missed it.
Maybe I told it wrong. Let me try. I'll start over.
Nope. Yeah, I don't need to hear it again. I'm fine.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm glad you've there's quite a few of us, and I'm glad that you're in that category too, that has found a way to figure it out, at least for yourself. I know. I mean, I'm still on the journey myself of really, what it all really means, but I do have my head screwed on a lot straighter than I did. Every 5 years, I think I get a little bit better with it. So glad to see that you're in that category now, my friend.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. Thank you so much.
I don't think it stops. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it stops. I think it's something where it comes up every once in a while, and you gotta hit it with a bat or something. You gotta do something with it when it pops up, right? I don't know. And I think that's the same with drinking, right? Or with combat memories, or how do you talk to somebody about Savage, right? How would you tell, right? They'd be like, oh, you're talking shit about this guy, right? Like, oh, he's kind of a goofball, and he's not the smartest guy. It's like, well, how are you telling this story about your friend, right? It's always something everything pops up, and you just got to deal with it consistently. And it sounds like you've gotten a much better way of dealing with it than most, which is good. That's really good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I take 0 medications now. I just eat right. Exercise is so key. You've talked about that before, but it's so important for your mental stability, for everything. And I cut drinking out, no medications whatsoever. And medications work great for somebody, especially in the right doses, and see somebody about it, and actually go back and do it right. And
I was just gonna say, that's the important part, is medication with the support. That's
100%. Yeah. And then I, like I said, in the winter I surf all winter, and that's been like my saving grace. I'm always in the water. I'm always either working out or in the water or riding dirt bikes. So
that's awesome, dude. Well, is there anything we left out? Anything you want to go through, or this is a good place to put a pin in it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for this. It's been so much fun, and thank you guys for doing this podcast, because it's so awesome to relive this. It really is, and be able to talk to people about it.
Yeah, man.
We're really glad to have you. What's funny is when we started this, we're like, we really got to talk to Herscher at some point. And like,
yeah, I don't know if we're going to get any tactical knowledge out of him, but it'll be pretty fun.
Hey,
I'm
not looking to speak to General Herscher.
No, exactly.
If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe for future episodes on your favorite podcast service.